Okay, let me just start by saying I'm not about to like go off on you or anything like that. Um, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I'm mixed. My mom is white, my dad is black, and I think I see where you're trying to go with it. But the reason that we celebrate these holidays is because, like you said, white is dominant, and we celebrate. It doesn't seem so bad because minorities are celebrated as a whole month, so it seems like we have more days. But if you go over the holidays that like we celebrate Independence Day, which if you really think about it, had nothing to do with minorities. That was the British, that was them declaring their independence. That wasn't us. We were just slaves that were there. We had no rights and there was no celebration for us for that day. That is really, unless you have like the true spirit of American in you, that's really has nothing to do with the minorities. And we have all of these presidents' birthdays that we celebrate. And, besides from certain ones like Abraham Lincoln, obviously, they didn't do anything for the minorities. So, yes, we have set aside these months to celebrate those who are not usually looked upon in schools and things like that. Like I'm sure if you go to into a history class and whatever you're learning in history, there aren't very many schools in our country that really emphasize Black History Month. I've always gone to schools where there aren't very many black kids, and I've never celebrated Black History Month. I never celebrated the Asian History Month, or I never did. I always did Women's History Month, however, and it always shocked me that no one really chose black women. No one ever did Rosa Parks or anything like that. Everyone always chose to do Susan B. Anthony and the famous white women because our society has taught us that white is the superior race. And we celebrate these other ones so that we can make them realize that minorities have achieved just as much in history as the whites have. And I think that is why we celebrate it. We're not trying to point out the differences, we're trying to point out the similarities. We're trying to say that everyone, no matter what the color of your skin is, has gone through struggle and everyone has made change. But when you look through our history, when you think of, like I dare you right now, think of 5 people who have changed America, and I guarantee you most of the people who do it are going to think of 5 white people because that's what we learn. In school right now, we're learning about DWIM, which is the dead white European males. We're not learning about the African Americans. We learned about the Middle Passage and slavery and what they had to go through because of the white people, but we never learned how they came through that, how they evolved, that they became these great people today, and all the changes that they made. And I think that's really why we celebrate the months. The months are our way of bringing people together. If we take them away, people will forget. We're only going to remember what we learned in school. And if we're not learning about the blacks and the Hispanics and the Asians, then there's nothing that we're ever going to understand about them. And what we really need to understand is that the more differences we find, the more similar we become. Because what makes a person is that they are unique from everyone else. And so we really need to learn that everyone has this struggle and everyone had these hard times. Every race has things that they're not proud of doing. And that's why we have these history months. So, I'm really like sorry like if your view is different, but I think that's the whole reason that they're there. And I wish all the time that my schools would have those months, but unfortunately we don't. And I know that I've always volunteered to put things up in the hallways and things like that just to get the word out. Like, even if I don't put up something about a black person, I at least want people to know this is Black History Month. Say something, feel something, think about it. And that's really the whole point. That's why we're here. We're here to learn and to live and to love people despite who they are or where they came from or what they've done. And I think that having the months for different races, that is what allows us to be such a great country because we can come together and you can look at a person of different color and not necessarily say, oh my God, I hate you, you're black, you're Asian, or whatever it is, but you can say, I understand you. And to be able to look at someone and really say, I understand you, like, I know what you've been through. I know what your ancestors have been through. And I know that you understand me. And understanding is one of the most important factors in life, I think. I think when everyone can understand each other, war will end and peace will come because there's nothing to argue over. Everyone understands. And that's why we do this. We want people to come together and to understand each other. We want them to feel pain for one another, to love one another because they feel like they have been through something together, even if it was on different parts of the world, even if it was in, different centuries at a time. When people come together, people love, and we do these months to bring one another together, so that the black kids in the classroom during Black History Month can share stories that their parents told them about their ancestors, about the steps that they took, and then hopefully someone from another race can share the similar steps that their family took, and you can find that sometimes paths cross. Sometimes you find out, wow, we walked the same path and we made the same journey. And that is why getting rid of the months would, it would kill everything that America has really come to build for our country. So that's all I really wanted to say. Just my side of the story.